Yeah, so between the revelations with the ring and the revelations with the Zealand, there's a lot of new information that the Dauntless crew learned about the Carina Nebula's past and present. So, uh, picking up where we left off, uh, actually, I'm going to put us on the bridge, I think.
Okay. Is everyone back, or am I still in charge right now?
You are still in charge. Bianca and Shiana are uh, still with the Kizlani, still checking things out down on the surface.
I assume I still have my Viridian patch that's on her back and all that business.
You do, yes.
Okay.
Also, I'd like to get you to run a sensor scan. We'll start off here,
All right.
and you guys are carrying over one momentum from the previous episode.
Gotcha. We are gonna roll. So reason science, I take it.
Yep.
Specialty.
Yep.
Sensor operation.
Difficulty is going to be 1, reduced from 2.
Coco.
And Dauntless will assist with sensor science.
I can do that.
Okay.
So cool. I have 2 successes just for
Yep.
me and whatever the Dauntless ends up giving me. So let's see what we got. Biome. Here we go.
Nicely done. Okay, so Dauntless's sensors are picking up the Zealand patrol that you picked up when you entered the system. Their search pattern is going to bring them within about 20,000 kilometers of the asteroid. Which
25 kilometers?
20,000 kilometers.
Okay, I was like 25 kilometers.
No, 25 kilometers would be like look out their window and see you.
Yeah, holy shit! Like,
but there is
I want to shoot that guy I see in the window.
Right.
No.
But 20,000 kilometers will give their sensors a decent chance to actually spot Dauntless and or the Kizlani facility.
Gotcha.
Well, they know. Well, don't they know that they already know that we're searching here, right?
They do know that you're searching, yes. So they would expect to see Dauntless.
And I remembered we did last time, I fired off a bunch of sensor probes to kind of mask the approaching shuttle that we sent. So, okay, cool. I will turn to the Centurion, since she's in charge. Centurion, what you said?
Oh, they. Both Steph and Dali are non-binary.
Oh. I will turn to this Centurion and say, Centurion, what is the, real quick storyteller, what's the name of the alien race again?
Zealand.
The Zealand vessel will come within 25,000 kilometers of the facility and has a decent chance of detecting our landing party and the facility.
How soon until their arrival?
I assume I'm able to do the quick math and figure that out.
It works out to about probably half an hour or so. So Dauntless would have...
They should be within optimal sensor range in 30 minutes. 30 minutes and 27 seconds. There you go.
All right, I'm going to contact the... Am I capable, or were we out of communication? Was there interference?
You're capable.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
But Sarah has gone to the restroom, so...
Oh, okay.
You might pick up
Shiana, though. I'm here, I'm coming.
Okay.
Okay.
Sarah's like, come here, scramble.
Hi, buddy. You're in my chair.
To quote Spaceballs, I told you never to call me. This is an unlisted wall.
Yeah, I will, once Sarah's settled, I will tap my comp.
Okay. Captain West here.
Captain, Lieutenant Commander Rye has detected a Zealand vessel that in your proximity. It should be able to detect both you and the contents of the asteroid and the derelict within the next 30 minutes.
And I'm gonna shoot a quick look at the leader guy. I forget what his name was.
I had forgotten too. I had to go back to last episode's video. It's Nasuna.
And I look at Nasuna and I say, "We've got refugees down here, Centurion. We're gonna have to act quickly to get these people off of the station."
Agreed.
And then she's gonna turn to Nasuna and just be like, "How many people are we talking?"
Not counting the folks who are actually on my cruise, figure about 350.
All right,
Good thing you
Centurion.
brought such a big ship.
Yes, indeed, Centurion. I want all transporter rooms standing by.
Captain, can we do that with all of the interference?
That's right.
If we
you know,
got
the
closer,
interference.
perhaps my character will venture if that is indeed scientifically plausible storyteller.
There are a couple of options, and this will be kind of common recognition for all you guys. One option, like there is significant interference and radiation from the white dwarf that would prevent just straight up transport. There are a couple of ways around that. One would be to somehow try and dock the Dauntless with the facility. Because it's an asteroid, it has very low gravity outside the facility itself. It would still be tricky to get the Dauntless that close, but it's doable. Another option would be, again, get the Dauntless close, but not as close, wrap its shields around the installation, and then transport. Because then you could transport without lowering the shields.
Right. Okay. Is Jonas with the awaitee?
No, he's on your ship.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I'm
I
still
couldn't
piloting.
remember. I was like, where's Jonas?
So I'm
No,
going
Bianca
to
flew the
chime
shuttle.
in and say that I like Commander Rye's idea. Like the easiest way, the best way to do this is bring the Dauntless in close. I don't know that we need to dock. I mean, can we do the shield thing?
That sounds like the best option.
Could we have the people on the station try to boost their signals as we get closer? Like, we don't necessarily have to do all the work. If they've got some way to enhance their patterns, we could
do have pattern enhancers with us, right? I think we said we did.
I remember spending for those.
Well, standard issue on the shuttle, but like we don't have enough necessary for everybody.
Yeah, I thought I remember spending an opportunity for it, but I'm not gonna. I wouldn't swear on my life.
One of our previous away missions, you did that. Not this one, because this one, Bianca just took the shuttle.
That's right. Okay.
That being said, once you are sufficiently close to the facility that you can put the Dauntless' shields around it, getting the signals should not be a problem. Like, the Dauntless' shields will block that interference.
I have an additional question for Commander Rye, because Dauntless has, okay, I'm blanking, the Romulan thing. Invisibility?
Oh, no,
we have invisibility.
It does not have a
cloaking device?
Oh, I thought we had a cloaking shield.
No, it has...
God, I wish we did.
It has an invention of Commander Bosch Anjar's, which can help mask the Dauntless's sensor signature. It's not quite as effective as a cloaking device, though.
But could we throw it out and use it to mask the asteroid and have the Zealand ships just see Dauntless?
not sure. Bosch has had that thing since he was in Starfleet Academy. He might not take kindly to having it just kind of tossed out an airlock.
Can
Could beam
Jonas
it
is going to
aboard the
probably
shuttle. We could beam it once the Dauntless is in range. We could beam it aboard the shuttle.
Mhm. That's true.
what about Jonas will chime into the conversation. What about using the probes that we've already put out to cause a bit of a distraction? They're taking readings and everything, and we already know that there's radiation coming from the star itself, so why not use that to our advantage and use the sensors as a smokescreen, or the probes?
I think we've all. I mean,
how-
to the security officer, these all sound great, but I think we need our science officer to chime in with a more definitive decision.
Which one's more plausible? So I thought I heard. Sorry, my lady was talking to me. I thought I heard the idea of somewhat distracting them using technology. I thought
Yeah,
that's what
using
Mr.
Oh, I'll let Journey explain again.
Yeah.
Jonas came up is asking about whether or not we can use the sensory probes that we sent out already as a distraction, since we know there's radiation coming from the dwarf star that's already making things difficult. Why not use these sensor probes that we used to make things even more difficult?
So my character, and barring this is a good idea from the storyteller. Let me check something. Oh, here. Okay, so here's I'm gonna take like if this were to be dialogue in the show after Jonas mentions that, I'll go. It is possible, and I'm gonna venture my character's bullshit. It is possible we could pack the probes with high particles of antiprotons that will enhance the surrounding white dwarf's interference that will make it difficult for the opposing ship to target us or the facility itself. They will no doubt know what we're doing something, but getting perhaps interrupted during a transport is what we want to avoid.
Antiprotons are also highly dangerous.
What's our best option for quickly being able to avoid detection of the asteroid?
Well, getting everybody out within 30 minutes. Well, 20 minutes.
Yeah, bubbling around and beaming everyone out super quick.
Yep.
Well,
all right.
Let's get to it.
Bring the Dauntless in, and I just look at their leader, and I go, "Can you have your people ready? Like now?"
We'll have them get ready.
My ship is getting into position. Once we're in position, we're going to have 15 minutes tops to get everybody out of here.
We should probably get our ships ready to evacuate too, just in case. If they do make us, we'll need to find another base of operations.
I can give you some of what we've gathered so far from the nebula. Maybe that data will help you find somewhere else to hide.
It just might. But one thing at a time. Let's get everyone off this rock.
Sounds good. Let's move it, people.
Okay, Jonas, let's have a daring con roll. Difficulty here is going to be 3. The asteroid does have a low gravity, but the gravity is irregular because of the shape of the asteroid. It's not spherical.
When he's done, I want to ask a question.
Okay, let's go ahead and make your roll when you are ready, Jonas.
Okay, I would like to grab a momentum for cautious because my daring is not that good.
Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
And
I'm sorry.
Dauntless will assist with engines con.
Okay, I'm assuming one of my flying focuses will apply here.
Helm operations applies.
Meanwhile, Bianca's going to tap her comm badge. Captain West to Dr. Pierce.
Dr. Pierce here, go ahead.
Prepare one of the cargo bays to be a refugee center. I want all 300 plus refugees in beds and to have a hot meal.
The beds will take some time, Captain, but we'll have the meals ready.
That's all I can ask.
All right, that's 5 successes from me.
Nice roll,
done.
Jonas.
Yeah.
Damn, boy.
Nice.
Who's got Dauntless? Steph, do you mind rolling?
Sure.
All the extra momentum.
What is the Dauntless rolling?
Engines, con. And 1 success from Dauntless. Excellently done. So, Journey, you bring the Dauntless in on a very gentle glide, just using the reaction control systems to lower it toward the surface of the asteroid. As you come in lower, you activate a couple of the tractor beams to almost act as mooring clamps. And so you are able to bring Dauntless hovering to within probably 50 meters of the surface, and you've got it stabilized.
Stabilized and ready to go, Captain.
Energize.
That would be Dash's job,
Yep.
right?
And from engineering, Dash reports, beginning transport now, Captain.
My character is keeping he has 2 eyes, one eye very much on the alien vessels, and the other is to make sure no bullshit happens beaming the captain over, because if it does, I'm gonna do my Viridian patch thing.
Yeah. Now Bianca, what's happening with the shuttlecraft?
I can fly it back.
I
Okay.
mean, the whole thing is once we get the refugees off of the asteroid, we're doing a science expedition. Like once they're off, we can. There's not like we can't be on that asteroid looking at that derelict.
Yeah, that's true. We can probably take our time getting back. But Dauntless should probably clear the facility just so that it doesn't look super suspicious. But I'm
Agreed.
thinking we might want to cover the escape of their escape craft somehow.
To be clear, those other ships that they have are combat-ready vessels. If need be, they can fight. Now they are smaller than the Zealand cruiser, or cruisers, but
Right, but I don't want to. So like if they get into fisticuffs with the Zealand cruiser, I want to maintain our neutrality with the Zealand as much as possible until Starfleet decides what to do. I don't want to have to get into fisticuffs with the Zealand.
right, that makes sense. Okay, if unless anyone has objections, I am going to fast forward here about 15 minutes.
That's fine.
Have we gotten all the people and are
Yep.
moving away?
That's basically what's going to be taking place. Like Bianca and Shiana flying back via the shuttlecraft, docking in the shuttle bay, transporters doing their thing.
Why can't we take their ships in our shuttle bay?
Their ships
They're
are,
a bit too big.
yeah, their ships are too large for the shuttle bay. They're
They're
probably
like frigate size.
about the size of an old Constitution class cruiser.
Oh, okay. I thought, like, when you said, like, ships, I was like, oh, they're baby ships.
I mean, they are babies compared to Dauntless. They're probably half the length
That's
of its
fair.
saucer.
Yeah, the Constitution was the size of the Enterprise D's nacelle.
Mm-hmm.
It
All
only
right.
had so many people on them because it was a heck of a lot more Spartan.
And then Bianca's going to bring the shuttle back to Dauntless
Right.
as Dauntless is pulling away, ideally.
Okay. Um, for the probes, what did you guys want to do?
We could probably possibly use them to cover the escape of the other vessels.
Okay, let's
Is
have
there a
that.
way to
Go ahead.
is there a way to make the probes emit a sort of signature that's like a ship, so that the Zealand like start going the other direction, and that gives the
Yes.
other ships enough time to escape?
Yes, that is definitely doable. That is going to be a control engineering roll. Difficulty is going to be 2.
Okay.
So, who wants to do that?
To sell, possibly?
Maybe with an
Just
assist from
do
Rye?
that. Sure. That's
Okay, so who's taking lead?
All right, so what's going? Sorry, guys.
No worries.
Is it me? Do we need me doing shit?
yeah.
I-
We're using the probes to make things all wavy
Okay.
wavy.
And I heard,
Wavy,
what's
wavy.
the role?
Okay, so it's going to be control engineering.
Control engineering could be worse.
Um,
Well, if you want, I have an engineer that can take the lead.
I got
And you-
13. I mean, I'm not sure what his role. It might, because it could be worse.
The target would be. Would it be reason? It would be control engineering.
yes.
It would be 15 for me.
I've got a 16 in control engineering.
Jesus.
All right, so is it possible for me to assist our daring con officer while he is dropping the probes behind us to obscure our sense? I assume that's what we are making it difficult for them to follow us. That's for darn sure. Am I right?
And making it more difficult for them to follow the Kizlani ships, which are going to be making
Gotcha.
their way out.
Can I do a reason engineering test to assist?
How would you go with reason instead of control?
Well, because what I would say is I have determined what is in the probes. The helmsman is dropping them. I put the chemical. I've decided what chemical compound of what is in there.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So control engineering for Jonas. Reason engineering on the assist for Rye.
That's good. That's could be worse there. All right, let me make sure here.
Would any of my focuses apply here?
Let me check.
I have to check something real too. I'm 90% sure it doesn't do anything, but I'm gonna milk it.
Not on this one, Jonas. I'm afraid not.
That's fine.
Bianca's gonna actually do
Rye, I will give you
do
your sensor
something
ops
here.
focus.
Oh, cool. All right, yeah, there we go. All
Okay.
right, I'm gonna go ahead and roll.
Okay.
There we go. Got one.
What's the difficulty?
Difficulty is 2.
What's
Oh,
the
okay,
ship
that's fine.
assisting with?
The ship is not assisting on this one.
Okay, sounds good. 2.
So-
I mean, we got 2, so there we go.
There it is. Okay.
So and what Bianca wants to do is, once the probes light up,
Mhm.
she wants to tell the Zealand ships, like, hey, I've got signatures over here, like bearing, and the courses of the probes
Okay.
as a bluff.
Okay, the signal jamming. I'm going to say they turned off the signal jamming. So, all right, the probes are away. You'll open a hailing frequency. The Zealand respond, and uh, let's have you make a presence command check, Bianca, to see if you can pull off the bluff. I'm going to say the
Okay.
difficulty, because you've set this up so well, the difficulty is going to only be 1.
Okay. Does my diplomacy or composure focus apply?
Composure focus, definitely.
Okay.
You're trying not to pull Han Solo in the interrogation room.
Yes. Everything's
We're
fine here now. Thank
How
you.
are you?
How are you?
And
Boring conversation anyway.
Zealand ships say, yes, we see those contacts now. Moving to engage. One of the Zealand cruisers you see turns to follow the probes that the Dauntless has launched. The other one sets a course out of the system, starts heading outside the asteroid ring around the white dwarf, and jumps to warp.
Oh, that's interesting.
Did we ever
Yeah.
investigate
Shiana doesn't like that.
Did we ever investigate the derelict?
No.
Well, I mean, the derelict was kind of where the Kislani had made their base. Like, they kind of
Okay, so
built
we
on
can
top of it.
ask them about it.
Right. So, like, when you guys were watching that holo program of what had happened 100,000 years ago, that
Oh,
Yeah, we took that with
I
us.
totally forgot about that.
Yeah, we
Okay,
took that with us.
the recording.
Yeah.
Okay.
I established last time that we were going to take it with us.
And I would have no problem retconning that regardless. It's kind of the whole reason why you guys were here.
Is it possible? Sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
Rigel, did you just fall out of the windowsill?
It sounds about right.
Okay, sorry.
Sorry, I had kids talking to me. They're arguing over cutting paper.
Oh, yeah, sounds about right.
Like they do.
Is it okay? Did we see what direction the other Zealand cruiser left?
You could probably extrapolate its course with a helm operations roll. Be either reason or insight plus con. And given your familiarity with the nebula, I'm going to say the difficulty is 1.
Yeah, Jonas would like to figure out where they're going.
Okay.
Shiana would also like Jonas to figure out where they're going.
Would Shiana like to
assist?
Sure, Shiana can assist.
Okay. Awesome. Do insight and con, and would my astro navigation focus?
Yes, it would.
Awesome.
Let's see. For Shiana, I'm going to make this insight con for Shiana as well.
All right. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay,
no focus for your roll.
Yeah, I don't have any focuses, I know.
I'd like to grab I know it's only 1, but I'm interested to see this, so I'd like to grab a dice for con.
Okay.
For cautious.
Got it.
Con.
I mean, both.
Just to go on record here, I rarely have.
Yep, I'm going to re-roll that.
1 momentum to gain a dice.
Right.
I just, if it's our last momentum, then you need to ask, but that's my opinion.
Okay, so 6 successes from Jonas.
So that's cool.
6 successes on a difficulty 1 roll. Nicely.
So you can ask
rolled.
like 5 questions.
Right. Or maybe build create an advantage for you guys. So
yeah, nice. I'd love the information, and then I would love to create an advantage of some type.
So the Zealand ship that warped out of the system is headed for a star system, G-class star, approximately 4.5 light years away. It left the system at high warp, so it'll probably be in that system within the next couple of hours.
My character will pull up, use the LCARs to pull up any information we have on that system, just so we know what's there.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of intel on the system. It is within known Zealand space.
Cool.
They're running home.
Shanna
Yeah,
types
so
up.
whatever the information is, I pull it up. It pops up in a little window on our screen, just to
And-
show the crew, so everyone has that basic info of whatever we got.
Okay, Shiana, sorry. Go ahead.
That's okay. Now, so looking at the information that Commander Rai has brought up, Shiana says, Captain, I find it suspicious that they would split their forces.
I do as well. However, we need to get these people to safety. That should be our number one priority. Open a channel, secure channel to the shroud.
I captain.
Okay, this will be normally would be difficulty 0, but given the radiation and interference from the white dwarf, I'm going to make it a difficulty 1. So it will be control engineering. The Dauntless will assist with computers engineering.
Okay.
I'm going to spend...
None of my focuses apply here, right?
Correct, and I'm spending a threat to increase your complication range to 2.
Okay. Alright.
Once I'd like to.
What was that?
Once Jonas is done, I have a thing I'd like to do.
Okay.
Alright, rolling now.
Okay, 2 successes. Who's rolling for Dauntless?
Shiana should roll.
I was just thinking that.
Okay, what's the roll?
Computers engineering? Actually, let me double check that before I have you roll it. Nope, sorry, comms engineering. Okay, nailed it. And you have a secure channel to the USS Shroud. Santiago, here, go ahead.
Imzadi, we have a situation out here. We found out that the Zealand have been trafficking in slaves. I currently have 300 refugees aboard. I've managed to distract them, get them out of the system, but they've split up. One of the ships went to high warp, headed for this system. I have to get these people to safety. That's my priority. But I also can't ignore what this ship is doing. How close are you?
We're about 20 light years out. And based on our intelligence reports, there are a number of Zealand ships and a starbase in that system.
Understood.
Chances are they're going to come back in force. You don't want to be there when they arrive.
We don't plan to be. And so what's the read on the ship that's still in the system?
The ship that is still in the system is on an intercept course with the probes. It should catch up to them in the next minute and a half.
What's the status on the other the refugee ships?
You've lost their signal.
What do you mean you lost it?
They're not on sensors.
Did we ever have them on sensors?
You had them as they departed, but they fell off of your
Oh.
sensors rather quickly because of the interference.
She means the refugee ship, not the other Zealand.
Right. Yeah, there are two Kislani ships which were basically repurposed Zealand frigates.
Mm-hmm.
and those ships are not currently showing up on Dauntless's sensors. An active
Okay.
scan would
Well,
be able to
what
find them, maybe, depending on whether
I
you roll
think
well
I
enough.
think we'll probably be all right. They'll probably be all right, but we cannot be here when the Zealand catch up to our probes. They'll figure that out pretty quickly. So, Lieutenant Carden, set a course for the Felathrine system, quantum slipstream drive.
Aye, Captain. I guess we don't need the. Well, no, wait. I do have a question.
Okay. And you've
Do
got
we
some
want to
bonus momentum that
leave?
you guys are able to use here too.
Yeah. Do we want to leave the derelict here for the Zealand to find?
I mean, we can't take it with us.
I know, but like
Or could we destroy it?
that's what I was basically asking. We might want to destroy it in case the Zealand come back.
I kind of
have a
agree.
feeling the Zealand probably could find every single piece of the derelict if they really wanted to.
It's still a good idea to destroy it because
Are
not
we
only will it have
base? Is it not possible to, in theory, task a scientific a science vessel as part of the Federation to come really take this thing apart? Because
yeah,
I
this
just
is
feel,
about to become an active war zone.
and my character doesn't know the politics.
Yeah.
All I know is that's a really cool thing that I'm sure, Starfleet archaeology and Starfleet, the science
there are
core
other
is going to be really
yeah there are other derelicts that they can go investigate.
So a
Okay,
couple of data
let's just-
points. Starfleet does have a task force in the sector. It's scientifically focused, so it's not a military task force. It is a scientific task force. And the Zealand would probably respect Starfleet's neutrality. Data point number 2, considering what this derelict has already survived, it's unlikely Starfleet in this era has any technology that could destroy it if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Okay.
But
On
we
that
do
note,
want to protect the information, so
Maybe
I mean,
maybe
we
like
took the information.
maybe ping it for archaeology
yes, we took the information, but there's just information in the fact that like what is left there in the derelict with evidence that people lived there, that all of that.
What I'm saying is, I would be very surprised if they haven't taken a look at one of these things already.
And I think the thing, as the storyteller's kind of like, do we even possess the fire to prevent them from getting a hold of it? Like, I don't think we do.
Not like destroy it or get a hold of it. I just think we should mark it for like Starfleet's exploration. You should check this place out.
Oh, it
And
should
then-
totally be in
okay.
our log.
like
Absolutely.
leave an actual beacon behind.
Yeah.
Yeah, like we've just found it and discovered it, and it's a thing. So we should come back and look at it when we're not helping them look for pirates.
Yeah,
basically.
so like, hi, we have a scientific curiosity about this. Let's mark it. Let's tell the Zealand that there's going to be a science team coming in, and that maybe that can cover.
Okay, let's just deploy a buoy and get the fuck out of here because they're gonna figure out those are our probes.
Yeah, good plan.
Or are those probes like kind of self-destructs? Please tell me you've got self-destructs on those probes, right?
Can we use our extra advantage to do that? That like when they get
Yeah, I'd like that.
We
Yes,
can
you
spend we can spend 2 momentum and just have that as a retconned advantage.
And that is, I mean, given the bonus momentum that Jonas got from his roll for God, I don't even remember what it's for now. Oh, for
It
figuring
was
out where the
for
Zealand were headed.
yeah,
I will
I got
totally
5
let you guys
bonus.
retcon that.
Okay.
So
right.
the Zealand ship gets in range, starts scanning the probes, and before it gets in visual range, the probes self-destruct.
And we QSD right out of the system. Bye.
Yes.
All right, what am I rolling for the slipstream?
I'm not actually going to make you have to roll on that one. I'm going to let you guys. I'm going to let that one be a difficulty 0.
Yay!
I am going to take a quick break though. I will be right back. About a minute and a half.
Okay.
Sounds good. We didn't die, and we saved a bunch of people.
Yay! That was good, guys. And we're
Considering
like,
the fact this is Star Trek, it would take effort for us to die. I'm not saying we should try it. I'm just saying.
We've had
that's
some
a good
close
point.
calls.
That's a good point, but you know.
Yeah. We did not suffer significant setbacks up to and including death.
But then again,
I
like
just-
we've gone up against the Borg, like a boarding party of the Borg on Dauntless and survived. So I guess your point stands.
I almost died. That was fun.
No, you didn't almost die.
I only had 3 points of stress left when that Borg shot me.
But I totally had you. Come on.
That's true. Well, and we were kind of just cleaning up the Borg at that point anyway.
That was such a great battle, guys. Like, I still kind of think about it sometimes.
Right? It was great.
It
And
was so great.
we had that entire episode, which was taking was driving the Borg bag on the ship, was because I rolled a complication. That was all because I rolled a complication.
But like, you know, like face to face, like oh my gosh. And that was when Will created those little like grenades.
The
exocomps?
exocomps, the EMP
Yes,
exocomps.
that was
Yeah.
so cool.
What did I miss?
We were reminiscing about killing Borg. Sorry, 19.
19 understands. 19 has probably killed more Borg.
You cut off there.
Oh, I said 19 has probably killed more Borg than all of you.
Fair
point.
Okay, so
Directly for sure.
slipstream en route back to the Fellathrine system. It's going to take probably about 5 to 10 minutes. So.
All right. Bianca's actually going to take a minute to go down to the cargo bay where they're setting up all the refugees.
Mm-hmm.
Just to see how things are going.
Yeah, they've actually converted 2 cargo bays and Dauntless' secondary shuttle bay. But that's enough to where they are. The conditions are not cramped; they're comfortable. Crew members are from the medical staff are still setting up beds. They've enlisted some of some engineering and security officers to help out with that. And you just kind of find like there's a general low hubbub of conversation. No one's entirely sure what's going on, but people are getting warm meals, and that is certainly a morale booster.
Yeah, well, and even though they'll be in the Fellathrine system in only a few minutes, Bianca is prepared to have them on the ship for longer while Starfleet decides what to do with them. Because, I mean, we can't... They've been separated from the Fellathrix for hundreds of years. You know, none of them know that system. But, you know, we want to be able to find them somewhere to go.
Right.
My character will approach Lieutenant Commander Darrow and talk about that we now have 300 unknown individuals aboard our ship, and LCAR terminals can be repurposed to do anything. We should definitely put an extra layer of security on the executive functions of our computer. Call me paranoid, but Rai says, pointing at his ears.
I agree, and we will implement that immediately. But speaking of your paranoia, Lieutenant Commander Rai.
Indeed.
While the bridge crew is a team, and we work as a team, and we certainly problem solve together, there have been recent instances where science has overstepped their bounds.
Go on.
I'm the tactical officer. Tactical scans, tactical decisions, and tactical analyses fall to me and to my team.
I'm thinking back, Lieutenant Commander, I'm not certain I've made tactical decisions. My focus, especially since I've joined Starfleet, is that I am a science officer, but I have also have a focus on counterintelligence and weapons analysis. I was just simply offering my expertise.
And I'm certain that your counterintelligence and weapons experience will come in handy, and certainly I appreciate what you did with the sensor probes recently here. But I run my department. I am the tactical voice to the captain. You are the science voice to the captain. When there are instances of overlap, we should discuss.
I will discuss them with you the best I can, he says with a wiry smile.
Excellent.
If that is all, Lieutenant Commander, I was simply offering advice and discussing.
Understood. As long as we understand each other.
The best we can, Lieutenant Commander. The best we can.
Excellent, Lieutenant Commander Rai. I feel that your work today has been exemplary. I appreciate your contributions to our team.
Thank you. And with that, Lieutenant Rai will return to his console.
And Bianca will head back up to the bridge
Okay.
as they enter the system.
Alrighty. Give me just a moment to swap maps here. All right, and yeah, you are back in the Fellathrine system.
Opening channel to Starfleet Command.
Hi, Captain.
Anyone in particular at Starfleet Command, or?
Whoever I report to.
Oh. You know what, I'm just gonna... Yeah, we'll just skip you straight to Admiral Quinn. Quinn here, go ahead, Dauntless.
Admiral, we have a bit of a situation.
Go on.
So far we have been keeping the peace with the Zealand, but I'm not sure how much longer that can hold. I currently have over 300 refugees aboard my ship who are liberated slaves. The Zealand have been we have had evidence that the Zealand have been subjugating the lower races in this nebula for centuries. And this is evidence that they are continuing that practice. I managed to steal them out from under their collective noses, but I don't see how we can have operations in this sector without while letting this go on. The refugees that I have on board, they're Felithrix, sir. They don't know Felithrix. They're hundreds of years removed from the planet itself, but they are biologically Felithrix. And if Felithrix is to become a member of the Federation, well, we need to do something.
Quinn frowns and says, Captain, as long as the Zealand are not subjugating any more new races, the Prime Directive is unfortunately clear. We cannot interfere in their internal affairs.
Oh, fuck, Quinn!
Once the Felithrix have been
They are a warp-capable civilization, Admiral. The Prime Directive does not apply.
Starfleet is not in a position to fight a war of liberation, or a war of any other sort, Captain. As detestable as the practice may be, if the Zealand are not interfering in the cultural development of other species in the nebula,
they already have interfered.
if you can find evidence that they are interfering further in the affairs of species that are not already under their thumb, then Starfleet can do something. Until then, our hands are tied.
I understand I don't have enough ships out here to wage a war, Admiral. I understand that we can't afford to wage another war. But you're asking me to do nothing.
No, Captain, I am ordering you to do nothing.
Well, in the meantime, what should we do with our refugees?
Have you contacted the Felithrix to see if they are able or willing to take any of the refugees in?
We are currently in orbit, and we will be contacting them shortly. However, I felt that it would be necessary to consult Starfleet Command before I asked them.
In the event that they are not able or willing to take on the refugees, and there may be cultural issues at play there too, we may be able to repatriate some of those refugees to Bajor or someplace within the Alpha Quadrant. Alternately, if there's someplace that can be set up within the Carina Nebula, that might also be a working alternative.
I feel like leaving them here would be leaving them vulnerable, unless they were unless they were here in the Felithrine system where we have a presence.
I agree. That would be for the best. Starfleet has built up some expertise, and if worst comes to worst, I feel like the Bajorans would at least be fellow spirits, kindred spirits.
All right. I'll talk to the Felithrix. I'll keep you updated on the situation.
Very well. Quinn out.
And Bianca, like, she makes a fist and she goes and she just kind of taps it. She's holding the fist tightly, but she taps it on her armrest instead of like hitting her armrest.
Captain, this is bullshit.
I know it's bullshit, Commander. What would you have me do?
I don't know, but how many times are we going to run against a member of the Federation or a Federation ally practicing slavery that to do anything about it or just to
They are
free
not
any
our
slaves,
allies. They're not our allies.
but we're neutral with them?
We are non-antagonistic with them. As much as I don't like it, Admiral Quinn is right. We do not have the resources for a war out here. However,
can't we do something like we did with the Ferengi slave operation?
Yeah, I remember that went really well.
It was successful.
It was also a clusterfuck. However, I have
It's a
something in
technical
mind.
term.
Yeah,
I
Charlie
have
Fox
something in
started my
mind.
career. I understand.
Could
I have something in mind. I have something in mind. I'm not going to let this go. You trust me on that.
Yes, I do.
But I'm not using Dauntless to fight a war out here. We can't afford it. But I will do everything in my power to do something, whether the Admiral likes it or not.
The Shroud?
I have a bit of pull with her, Commander.
And Shiana just grins.
If we can prove to Starfleet that the Zealand are finding new races to subjugate, then they'll have our backs.
What's preventing us from simply entering Zealand space?
Not wanting to antagonize them, they're pretty xenophobic. So we've kept our distance. They've let us come into the outskirts here and there to explore things, but I think if we started probing into Zealand space with a giant flag waving above our ship, which this ship is a giant flag, then I think they would take it a little bit personally. That's just my feeling, though. However,
go ahead.
However, the Shroud has a cloaking device and has already been gathering reconnaissance data in the nebula. So
In
I think
regards to
they're our
this,
best option. Sorry, I keep cutting you off.
it's one of those things when you're not actually looking at each other, it's hard to know when everybody's
True.
done talking.
Right.
So my character does not interrupt, but when you are done, let me know.
I'm done.
I am reminded of some history, and I believe it has some it's analogous to the human Terran history in regards to the American Civil War in the year of the 1800s. Before the actual war began, there was something called an underground railroad, in which members of the Union, although they could not take up arms at the time against the Confederacy, I believe it was called, they were allies and would perhaps assist any fleeing slaves. Perhaps that is the best we can hope to do until the Federation decides to take a more official action.
That's kind of along the same lines that I was thinking. Good historical example. Now,
I agree with the commander. Whatever we can do to assist the Kislani in their mission.
well, luckily, I gave their leader the reconnaissance we've gathered in the nebula and means to contact this vessel. In the meantime, I think the Shroud should make it her primary mission, if her captain allows, to try and figure out the best route for this underground railroad and find where it's most sorely needed. It can be a background mission to our primary mission of exploration and discovery. For now. Like I said, I'm not going to leave this be. I'm not going to let it alone. Starfleet be damned. But I'm not going to cause open war.
Aye, Captain.
Open a hailing frequency to the Felothrix.
Hi, Captain. Opening hailing frequency.
Is there anybody home?
Felothrix Station here. Go ahead.
I have a proposal. I have 300 plus refugees that we just rescued who are former slaves of the Zealand. You know how they took members of your species off your world 500 years ago?
Yes, we had thought that we would never see any of them.
Well, I have their descendants in my cargo bay. I was wondering if you would be willing to repatriate them.
This is a question that Katorash directly will have to address. I will retrieve him and be back shortly. And the channel closes. Yeah, let's Dahli had said you wanted to check on the refugees, so let's do that here.
Yeah, do my doctor in.
Okay. Pierce has set up a kind of clinic area, so he's already kind of started a process, but he's certainly happy to have the help.
Awesome. Yeah, so I will move over and help him process whoever's sick, see what kind of illnesses they have, see if anything is like, make sure that if there are any illnesses that if we expose them to the Felothrix, it won't cause like huge epidemiological like stress.
Right. Let me get you to do
I don't want to smallpox these people.
You don't want to what? Small talk?
Smallpox
Oh,
these
smallpox.
people.
Oh my god, right? Give me a reason medicine roll. I'm going to have Dr. Pierce assist. The difficulty here is going to be 3.
All right, I'm assuming I have a focus.
Let's see. Yes, your xenobiology focus applies here.
All right. Are people cool with me taking an extra dice?
Go for it.
Four and 5 successes. Okay. If anything, the Kislani are probably more at risk from Fellafrix diseases. You noticed
Yeah.
not a whole lot of sickness within this small cloister. Uh, most of them appear to be in decent health. There are some nutritional issues uh, and a little bit of muscle atrophy from being in a low gravity environment. Uh, but their immune systems are less developed than you've seen from the Fellafrix themselves. And
That makes sense.
that's likely a result of having been isolated for several centuries away from the main Fellafrix population.
Okay.
There are some potential cross contamination issues here. In other words,
Okay.
but they're more likely to affect the Kislani than the Fellafrix.
That's what I figured. Like, when Spanish arrived and kind of wiped out a whole bunch of the Native Americans because,
Right. Be right back.
hey, these.
Okay, sorry about that. Can you guys hear me? All right, I can't hear anybody. Hang on. Of all the nights, Discord has to be a piece of shit. There we
Oh,
go.
there we go. Okay, yeah, sorry.
No, not your fault. That was all Discord.
Yeah, so I was just saying basically, like, I want to make sure that we don't do to the Kislani what the Spanish did to the Native Americans.
Right. There are
Hey,
there's
welcome home. Oh, you're all.
welcome home. Oh, you all just died from dysentery. Hi, Jasmine. Um, that being said, with the number of successes that you rolled on that, uh, you could easily come up with a vaccine regimen that will protect the Kislani
Awesome.
if they
Cool.
in the event they're repatriated.
Excellent. I will start on that, and I will inform the captain of the findings. He is notified as part of, like, if they are repatriated, then they are going to need to be kept in quarantine for a little bit.
Probably a matter of weeks to months.
Yeah. Just a new environment and to be given like a regimen of like this kind of thing.
Understood, and not entirely unexpected.
Are there any outwardly injured ones in the sick bay?
No outward
Or
injuries.
cargo bay, sorry.
No, no worries. There are no outward injuries among any of the refugees. At least, actually, I take that back. There are no new outward injuries, if that makes sense. Like some of them have obviously had some injuries in the past. You can see a couple of cases where Kislani had a broken bone that wasn't reset quite properly. Probably, well, and it's so, and as you're encountering these, you're doing your best to treat them. Like, um, I'm figuring by the 25th century that you would not have to re-break and reset a bone, though. So, we're gonna skip that part.
Yeah, but doing a similar kind of idea.
Right, exactly. Just kind of doing like a tissue regeneration on the arm or body part, what have you.
Right. Okay.
But
That's
the
good.
overwhelming number of cases, and again, it's probably about a third of the cases of the total population is just mild malnutrition, malnourishment. Uh, Most of the refugees had been on that asteroid for a while, so most of the more severe cases would have been taken care of by this point.
Can I get a sense of like the injuries, like breaks and stuff that like healed over?
Hmm.
Uh, are they congregated on like a certain section of age or a certain section of like men versus women?
Um, Not really. No, it looks like it's talking to these refugees. Uh, Most of the actual injuries were labor related.
That's what I figured. Yeah.
Uh, not inflicted, but just happened to happen to them. Does that make sense? And then
Yeah.
and then it wasn't necessarily uh, yeah, and then I mean honestly uh, the Zealand provided some medical assistance, but not top notch medical assistance, if that makes
Yeah,
sense.
enough to
Enough
get you back to work.
enough to get them back to work. Exactly.
And how old are they? Like in terms of like 10 years, 5 years,
In terms of injuries, or just the entire population overall.
both.
The injured population tends to be late teenage to middle age adulthood. The overall population is almost a microsample of Fellowthrick's population,
Okay.
with the exception of fewer senior citizens than you might expect.
Yeah, because they can't work.
Well, and because they might not have lived to that age.
Yeah.
Substandard
Okay.
medical care means you don't live as long.
Yeah. Gonna kind of like do like basic medical like histories
Hmm.
in the sense of like trying to find out like basic information so that we can also provide, hey, these people were enslaved as recently as X months ago.
You're finding, based on their case histories, and this is going to be over the course of probably 12 hours to 3 days.
Yeah, that's
Um,
fine.
but the medical teams are finding that the range of rescues was anywhere between 3 weeks and 6 years.
Okay, so it's still ongoing according to them. Like they were recent, like some of them were recently rescued from like a mine or something.
Most of them were rescued in transport, i.e., on
Okay.
ships. It seems this is basically how Nasuna did his thing. He would find isolated transport ships, waylay them, take the crews off, take the refugees, take the slaves off of the ships, and then scuttle them, or repurpose them, as
Hmm.
what has happened in at least a couple of cases.
But those, like some of them, or a majority of them, or however much, who are part of the populace, given evidence of being slave labor.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
what's interesting, and this is something that you all find out from the interviews as well, is the ships they were transported on were lightly guarded and lightly armed. So it's not like, say, Earth's slave trade where they were considered valuable.
Oh, I hate that. Oh, gross. All right. Yeah, I'm just gonna gather all that information and bring it to both Shiana and Bianca. Here's your depressing report for the morning.
Bianca's just taking solace in the fact that they did what they could for these people.
It seems some of them were retrieved as little as a month ago.
Sorry, that's not the ready room. That's the ready room.
Well,
Can we use this as evidence to convince Starfleet?
no, because the Felithrix are a race that was originally subjugated 500 years ago.
I'm confused.
These people are generational.
And that
Like,
somehow makes their enslavement less important.
No, it's just saying that Starfleet wants evidence that they're subjugating new races.
This race is still considered a new species. They are distinct from the Felithrix.
I thought we established they were biologically Felithrix.
They are,
yeah.
but they are culturally and in some senses in epidemiological sense, they are inferior to the Felithrix.
They're also
What if we
pre-war.
could use the Felithrix, like their application to the Federation? Can we use that as ammunition against the Zealand?
Given that it happened hundreds of years ago, I don't see how, because these people are no longer part of the political entity that is the Felithrix system.
If they're repatriated, they will be.
Yes, and if the Zealand came back and enslaved them again, then it would be an issue. But the other, Felithrix prisoners that they have enslaved, they have been enslaved for centuries before the Felithrix were even contacted by the Federation.
How can we... So, if there is any evidence of the Zealand taking or having slaves, as long as those slaves are generational, there's nothing we can do about it?
I didn't say it was fair or it made sense. But basically, they're saying that we can't police something that happened 500 years ago.
Your prime directive is awful hypocritical.
I'm convinced in this situation it doesn't apply. What I think is actually going on here is that Starfleet just fought a very, very devastating war. We don't have the resources, we don't have the manpower to commit a military force to this system for the express purpose of freeing slaves.
Captain, what if we committed a guerrilla force?
May I be excused?
Of course.
I'm just gonna walk out.
That the Centurion that walked out?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, so my character kind of coyly looks over at Jonas and kind of has that look of like, follow her, what are you doing?
If Jonas hasn't been needed, he's not on the bridge or in that meeting. He's studying the recording that they brought over and the information.
So he would be in his quarters.
Yep.
Okay.
Good. I'm going
And
to
then-
find Jonah.
And then
Okay.
Bianca just, Bianca just looks at looks
Shiana?
at Shiana, and she goes, the Ferengi practice slavery. Did you see us starting a war with the Ferengi?
No, but we still liberated some slaves. You've already taken a step with the shroud. So what if we
I haven't talked to the
took,
Shroud yet.
we're going to take a step with the shroud, correct?
I will, but I haven't talked to them yet.
What if
This is
we what
this
if
is
we
contingent upon a gentleman's agreement, not upon anything official.
but what if we decide to wage a guerrilla war against slavery in the Kryn Nebula?
The logistics of that would be complicated.
But
Heron Nebula is a lot of ground to cover. And
very
if they
exciting.
are discovered by the Zealand will blame Starfleet and the Federation. And then we will
Captain,
be in open war.
what if some of our new Kaslani friends were part of this? Could spearhead this, their ships?
They're already doing that.
What if
And
we
we'll support them
help
where we
them?
can. We will support them where we can. We are a scientific task force. Aside from the Yorktown and the Dauntless, we are not heavy hitters out here.
I know, Captain, I know, but you also know that I feel honor bound.
I understand your feelings, but I am in command of this entire task force. I have to do not just what I feel is right for the greater good, but for this task force. You can't let your personal sense of anything interfere with your command decisions. I'm sounding like my mother when I say that, but she's not wrong.
I know, and I'm not asking for immediate action or decision, but I want to think about this. I want us to find a way
Did
to make
anything,
it to make a
is
difference
anything
in
that
this.
I'm saying here saying that I'm precluding that possibility?
No, Captain, I'm sorry.
We have to think through all of the potential consequences. Trust me, I want nothing more than to send the Makos out to liberate every single prison the Shroud comes across. I want them to be able to operate that way. But if one of them is captured, that compromises everything. The situation with the Zealand is tenuous at best, and they have the advantage here.
What about the fellow Thrix? There is a contingent of fellow Thrix on their station that I trained myself.
I understand that. But they would need ships to support them. They would need. And if the fellow Thrix decide on their own accord to do that, technically they're not members of the Federation yet. I can't do anything about that. But we also can't supply them. We can't back them up. Until they sign on the dotted line, they can do whatever the fuck they want, as far as I'm concerned. Whether they want to is a different story. Like I said, we're not going to do nothing. But I am not going to get us into a war.
Shanna nods, and I know,
That's
Captain,
not what we're out
and
here for.
I know that I'm so much. Please understand. I know that you understand that so much of this is just trying to talk through the problem and the possibilities.
I know. But I also know how close you are to this particular situation, this particular issue personally.
I
Unfortunately,
won't deny it.
I don't have the luxury of taking that into account. I mean, at that point, why don't I just say fuck Starfleet and just take this entire ship and go pirate?
Why not?
Like, Rye's eyes kind of get big at that mentioning.
Do you or do you not wear the uniform?
I do wear the uniform, and I believe in the code, in the idea of the Federation and of Starfleet. But sometimes that idea and that code is beyond what the actual rules and regulations are. You know that I believe that, and you know that I have followed through with
I
that.
know,
But I know.
we are bound for reasons that are bigger than ourselves. And if at any point you feel like the uniform doesn't fit anymore, you are more than welcome to take it off. But so long as you wear that uniform and you are on board my ship,
Shanna looks a
we
little
aren't
taken aback.
cowboys shooting from the hip.
Shanna looks a little taken back. Captain, Dauntless is my home, and my my heart. Though, if you tell anybody that, I will deny it. I appreciate the conversation, and I hope that soon we will find a solution that fits the
And
political
the thing
needs of
is,
Starfleet and the 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 needs of the people here in the nebula.
sometimes you just gotta take things on faith. And I know it's hard. God damn, do I know it's hard.
I appreciate that.
To ease your conscience, fellow officers, we are put in a situation where our emotions are compelling us to correct a great evil. But if it helps ease your conscience, understand that if we act rashly and pressure this culture into renouncing their slaver ways in order to join the greater galactic community, they may attempt to purge their sins, similar to reference history again of what the Nazis had done to people they considered undesirable. So remember, not every decision we make today is condemning someone to slavery, but could be saving them from death. That is the thing we must worry about. We
And
may
such
not be
is the
able to do
burden of
anything.
command.
Captain, I do not envy you. But I say this simply to ease my fellow officers' conscience best I can. is that we're watching a great injustice pass in front of us today, and although it burns us to the very core to do something, if we do that, we may condemn others to a far worse fate. For once, we may... He kind of rolls his eyes. Perhaps not for once, but we must steady our hand, at least for now. I may say, today's not the day to take the Dauntless rogue. That day may come, but today may be too rash.
Thank you, Commander Rye. Thank you, Captain. And Bianca sort of does a couple of quick little, short bows.
Shiana does, you mean?
Exits.
You mean Shiana?
Who did I say? What did I say?
Said
Bianca.
Bianca. Shiana bows to Commander Rye and to Captain Bianca West. And exits.
Are we? Is the captain and I the only one left in this room?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm thinking that this is a informal conference that we were having in my ready room.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well, Captain, I do not envy you, as I said before, but it may help us to focus on our mission.
That was my thinking. It's just, I understand their frustration.
Indeed.
I understand having all the red tape in the way. It's part of the reason I never wanted Starship Command. But by God, now that I'm here, or by the goddess, now that I'm here, I'm going to do it right.
While the Federation has a great deal of red tape, the red tape amongst my former people was a lot more dangerous. So, I, in a way, see your predicament. I have once been placed in a situation where I must consider the good of the government, of the people, the sector, over what I consider is right. I do not recommend making the same decision that I did, but unfortunately, I have to. I would listen to Starfleet at this time, which it seems you've already made that decision.
I know. Like I said, I'm...
Captain, you don't need to explain yourself to me. Trust me. Whatever sins you think you have, I've seen worse. May I be excused?
And, we don't have to role play it out, but Bianca just, she goes to meditate.
So, does she grant him permission to be excused,
Yes.
or am I sitting
Yes.
there while she meditates?
No.
Like, oh,
No. I gave you permission to leave.
Dismissed,
I was
yeah.
like, I don't know what's happening. I don't know what this means in her culture. Do I leave? What do I do?
No, you're being forced to watch the captain meditate, and that's
Yeah,
your
I'm just-
Well, that's
punishment
awkward.
for, you don't
I'm
even
just
know
like,
what.
Are we friends now? What's I'm not sure. I go sit next to her, try to meditate. What are you doing? I don't know. You tell me.
This
All right,
is super awkward. Help!
So yes, I will. I assume she gives me a nod.
Once she's by herself, she will meditate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good.
We will swap down to Jonas's quarters.
For a quick refresher, what was the information that we got from the new derelict? That
You got basically the events that transpired when the ring was activated.
Oh, can sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
Before I leave, as part of my tender moment with the captain, I will touch her on the shoulder, thus taking the Viridian patch back to use later.
Okay. Well thought.
Did you say so? You cut out?
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
said well thought out. Good,
Eh,
good memory
cool.
there. Okay, so Jonas, to recap, what you had recorded and brought with you was the events surrounding the ring's activation, um, where it sped up to perhaps physically impossible speeds in its rotation, uh, and in the process opened a gateway to another universe.
Okay.
And I think Garrus just fell out of the windowsill.
What is it with your cats today?
Well, I don't know. I have the window open, so they're all hyper.
Open windows, man, and cats. Not
Mm-hmm.
good.
Right.
Mm,
So once this portal had opened, thousands of far future Starfleet vessels poured through it, uh, and then to prevent a white dwarf from going through the portal, uh, Starfleet destroyed the ring.
okay, and then parts of
And
that
that
ring are now in our universe.
well, the ring was built in this universe.
Oh, okay, got it.
Uh, However, that explosion that created the Carina Nebula, the energy output, like very few fragments were left because most of the ring was converted into energy.
Gotcha. And all of this happened way in the future.
The construction and activation of the ring happened in the past, 100,000
Oh,
years ago. Starfleet from the future traveled into the past to build this.
okay. Sorry, I was getting a little confused. All
No,
right.
no worries. It is a complicated plot. I will grant you that.
Okay, so, and the reason they went into the past was because in the future they were being attacked by an unknown.
Correct.
Well, you know its name.
Yeah, I forgot its name. I remember it screeched at me, but I don't remember.
Um, I have that written down. Hang on. No, not under crew logs. We need to. Scania, and I will put it in the chat.
Skinia. Okay. This might be a bit. Actually, I would like Jonas in his quarters to have made a murder board, complete with yarn and string and tacks.
Or it's not like holographic strings or anything, just like actual string.
Nope, he's replicated yarn and tacks and a giant corkboard.
Okay. So on your table there, you've got kind of the recording in a freeze frame, and yeah, in place of the painting here in the background, you've got your murder board set up.
Awesome. Okay, and that's what uh, that's what Dahli will see when she comes into his quarters, because he's standing in front of it, just staring.
Okay. Okay, give me a second to compose myself.
Or
Oh,
uncompose, as it were.
is it possible for like, I don't know if this is possible or not, but on Federation ships, is it possible for doors to recognize a person's comm badge so they do not have to ring a doorbell
Yes,
just
and
so
I
that
was
it
going to
opens
ask
for
if you guys had that set up so that Dolly could basically come into your quarters whenever.
Yeah, if that's possible, Jonas has already done that.
Okay, that's fine.
Okay,
Because for comedic effect, it works so
even
much better
better.
because Dali just bursts right into the room.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna come off push to talk. So Dahli like storms down the hall, turns the corner, like walks into the room, kind of is shocked because didn't raise a hand to like hit the thing, doesn't even care, just walks right into the room, like through the hologram, and just like sing, and is clearly like agitated, and just like is muttering quietly, and then like looks to Jonas and just goes, "Hypocrites."
Jonas will take one look at Daphne and pretty much understands the moment she just says the word the hypocrites, because I'm sure they've had this conversation before.
Probably.
Same rant,
What
new
did the
twist.
hypocrites what did the hypocrites do this time?
Ugh. Just, oh, if you're going to help a species, you should. I don't understand the protocol and the politics behind all. I logically I do, but it shouldn't matter.
Jonas will come away from his the murder board and move over to the replicator. What does Dolly like normally eat and or drink nowadays?
A lot of it is still supplements, but usually on to Bajoran spice tea. So
Jonas will go over to his replicator and Bajoran spiced tea, 2 cups.
don't
And
need to be placated right now, Jonas.
I'm not placating you. I am giving you a cup of tea so you can sit down and we can talk about this rationally.
Don't want to be rational right now.
No, you want to be emotional and outbursty and you want to yell and scream because everything is not fair and it should be, but sometimes that's not how the universe works. And he's gonna come over and pat this sofa next to him and hold out a cup of tea.
Sit down, take the cup of tea. Just everything used to make so much sense.
Well, to be fair, it used to make sense because you were part of a much larger whole and a consensus.
And I just don't understand why there has to be so much dialogue. Oh, no worries. No, doggos.
Journey, you still there?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, sorry, one sec.
Yeah, doggos are being bad.
Mm.
I'm just gonna angrily drink my tea. For, like, just grumpy cat face drinking tea.
Aw. Rest in peace, Grumpy Cat.
Rip. When you're used to being logical, but all of a sudden emotions are a thing.
One moment, guys. It will just be a sec.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay, so, what was the last thing you said? I couldn't hear it.
Oh, just
God,
what?
dogs.
Why does everything have to be a dialogue? Like, why is everything so complicated? Oh no.
Because if everything were easy, then the universe would be a lot simpler, and it's not.
I understand that there's political and no doubt legal ramifications in Starfleet as to why we can't simply rescue not every helpless species, just as we can't give them technology if they don't have the necessary technology. In a case like this, it simply isn't logical. These are a species that are linked to a species that has been known to be enslaved. Why should the history of it matter? Why should the fact that they were taken 500 years ago rather than 2 days ago matter?
If possible, as the player, I don't know how I can answer that, but as Jonas, I'd like to use my listener ability to somehow come up with an answer that can help.
Okay. So, what I will have you do is uh, roll Insight Command. And Steph, as Dahli, I'm going to let you set the difficulty on this.
Easy.
Okay, we'll call it difficulty. We'll call it difficulty 1.
Okay. Okay, and I get a bonus d20 because this is a social thing?
It is, and are you trying to advise or convince Dahli to refrain or to take a specific course of action?
I'm trying to use this ability in order to help her, to stop her from being upset. So in a way, yes, I'm trying to advise her so that she's not angry or upset anymore.
Okay. All right, roll when you're ready. I'll give you your attunement focus on this as well.
Okay.
2 successes. Relating this in a medical analogy seems like the best way to go. Dali, as a medic, understands that you can't cure all diseases, and sometimes the only treatment is for something is to not treat it.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Alright. Dolly, what do you do when you have a patient who has an incurable disease? Something that you can't treat?
Make them comfortable.
Mm-hmm. And when you, as a doctor, are faced with that sort of situation, how does it make you feel when you've tried every avenue of thought of trying to find something, anything that could help you treat this patient, but you don't find anything?
Frustrated.
Much like the situation you're in right now.
I suppose. Are you saying slavery is an incurable disease? Is that the metaphor?
Well, Well, it's one you would understand.
It's a poor analogy, but I understand it.
I'm not a medical expert. You are. I'm a pilot.
Some sort of piloting metaphor, I wouldn't have understood it.
Blame the GM for that one then.
No. You gave pretty good information there.
I just think about it, and then I think about how my life was taken from me, and I get
I understand that. I think I can understand that more than a lot of other people could. Because while we weren't enslaved, my people had to flee numerous parts of the universe because of it. And in the end, the people who helped us were Starfleet.
I just this may be rather crass of me to say, but sometimes I feel like Starfleet is not the white knight it pretends itself to be.
No, it's not. I will agree with you. There are certain situations where the moral ambiguity of what Starfleet is and represents is very apparent. What some of them are willing to do to consolidate power or keep their name or present themselves in a certain way. But you have to remember that not all of Starfleet is like that. The captain certainly isn't like that. Because if you think that she's handling this any better than you are, I'm going to call bullshit on that.
She's just better at hiding it than I am.
Well, if we're being honest in the situation, emotional control for you is a new thing, I would say.
Yeah, it is. I suppose I just want to help everyone after everything I've done. And I don't like the idea of not being able to help.
I understand that completely. I'm right there with you.
Uh-oh.
And sorry, Jonas will reach over and take Dolly's free hand, the one that isn't holding tea,
Mm-hmm.
and he'll lace their fingers together and go, but the important thing is the fact that at least now you can work with. Jonas struggles for a moment to try and find the words. You would think a listener should be able to talk properly. I think I missed a few classes growing up.
All that running away.
Yep. But what I guess I'm trying to say is, you're not alone in the situation. I don't like this situation any better than you do, or the captain, or anyone else on the bridge crew. We're all as frustrated as we can be. Because, well, it's true. We do not have the ability to fight a war out here. And as much as it pains me to say it, for now, we have to do what we've been doing. Maybe there's a chance further down the line we can help. Maybe there's another chance that we'll be able to help more slaves in the future to escape. But as it stands, and as much as I hate it with every fiber of my being, we can't do anything right now. And he's gonna squeeze Dolly's hand. And I'm sorry for that.
Dolly will kind of like nod, take a few sips of tea, and then look toward and just tilt her head very slowly. Kind of like an, oh yes, a distraction. Like kind of like you recognize the expression. Thank God, something to do. What on earth are you working on?
Oh, my murder board. Sorry, what did you say? You cut out.
Who?
Oh, it murder board. It's amusingly, it's an old Earth Terran thing. I forgot it's not called Earth.
Sure it is.
It's a way of stringing together all the evidence we've found so far here in the nebula, all leading back to the central point, which is Starfleet.
Well, I'm happy to listen to your ideas.
I'd appreciate that. And then maybe in a little bit you can help me retune my phaser again.
I just roll my eyes and take a sip of my.
All right, I will be right back, everyone.
Okay, I'm actually going to
I
switch
think-
scenes here real quick.
Yeah.
Where was Rye heading once he left the ready room? Adam?
Oh no.
I'm here. Sorry. I was.
No worries.
It was in my pocket, and then I wasn't anywhere near in the right app, so I had to switch over and all that other business. It would depend on what time it is. I'm either returning to duty.
It would like
Or I'll go
immediately after leaving the captain's ready room. Where was he? Where would he have been headed?
So I mean, I guess it's kind of really up to you. If I'm off duty, I'll return either to my room to do my cooking routine, or I can go wherever the narrative takes me. Like I'm kind of up for whatever.
All right. I think what we will do is have you in the turbolift.
Mm-hmm.
And the turbolift stops a few decks short of your deck. And you recognize Sloan, although he appears to be wearing a Starfleet uniform here, Science Division.
Mm-hmm.
And he steps into the turbolift, says, "Deck 23."
Do I recognize this person?
You do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, the uniform is not the same, but the facial features are 100% familiar to you.
Gotcha. So, can we say I was able to type all that information into the pad I happen to have on me right now?
Yes. Yeah, I'll allow that.
All right. So, what will happen is as he hits his deck, I'm going to ever so over dramatically trip into the console and stop the turbo lift. Oh, I do hate it when these things have technical issues.
And he just kind of regards you.
Yeah. You might have, and I will produce the pad. Sir, you dropped this. It must have a lot of that information you were looking for.
Why, sir, I do believe you were right. Thank you. How clumsy of me.
Yes. Well, always got to be careful. You never know. One day I may call in a favor for you, since, I was ever so kind to make sure you didn't lose any of this data.
I suppose that would put me in your debt, wouldn't it?
Thank you. So if I may, oh, never mind. Go ahead. I don't
Oh,
wanna...
he was about to say good day, but clearly you had
Cool.
something else. So go ahead.
So no. So here's what'll happen, because I personally think it's cool that we do the role play first, and then I'm gonna say all the bullshit I rolled for
Okay.
in the intervening time, which I think the players will enjoy as well.
Okay.
So, like in a flashback, it reveals, and for everyone else to enjoy, as I was walking, they'll see me. I'm going to type in, I write in all the real information as far as I know in regards to the captain's telepathic abilities. It is, the captain, as far as I know, is 100% fucking telepathic, can communicate with this blue box thing. You know, I give details. However, I take the pad apart, and in the most corner I can, I take that Viridian patch that I had from the captain and stick it on the side, clasp it back, and so reveal to the audience who is watching this that I have hidden a bug on the pad I've given to the Section 31 officer. I will totally roll for that now.
All right, let's do a daring security roll.
Absolutely. I'm going to spend my determination that does the ends justify the means.
Okay.
Because I am,
that will give you 2 critical successes.
I'm going to spend, just because I want to know where these sections, I would love to spend at least, I'm going to at least spend for 1 extra dice. If the group would like, I would like to spend 2 more for an additional dice, so that I know this guy isn't going to find it, and hope to find out where the Section 31 base is in the area. But I will let the team.
Y'all okay with Rye spending an additional
I'm down for that.
Okay.
Yeah, let Shiana know about Section 31 on the ship.
Not yet. Soon.
Okay. Difficulty is 3. I am spending 2 threat to increase your complication range to 3.
Sounds good. No business applies. Okay, so I got 2 successes. Nope. All right, that's where we're at. Big money, big money. There we go. So that puts me at a total of 4 successes.
With 2 complications. All right. I will be right back.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
I will be right back. My stomach is making very bad noises, so it's going to be about 5 minutes.
Oh no! Right,
dun, to be continued. Dun, dun, dun.
Why is tuning a phaser now the worst euphemism on this ship?
I feel like those complications mean that Rye might have to actually bring Shiana into his confidence.
Hey, that sounds cool. I just thought it was neat. Like, oh, okay, what am I in Section 31? I was like, if only I could find out where they're. Wait a minute. It turns out I might be as clever as my character's supposed to be on accident.
No, like, that was really cool, but, like, let's see how it turns out. And I think that it would be interesting to see if Rye and Shiana could come together with, like, Section 31 related.
Oh yeah, no,
mission. Because
yeah,
exactly. There's a history with Section 31 and Shiana.
Oh, cool. Yeah, no, I'm hoping it ends up being pretty good stuff. Because you gotta. I initially wasn't gonna be completely truthful about the captain, but you gotta make the bait worth it. You gotta have enough real stuff in there, or else they're not gonna trust you. So, actually, that's something we should totally try to encourage our GM to be the complication. Maybe they buy my information, and now they think I'm really their spy, and they start asking for more and more stuff. That'll be fun. Who knows? So what's everybody doing tomorrow?
Sleeping
in as much as I can, possibly taking my cat to the vet because he's an idiot who I think maybe re-injured himself after surgery. So That depends on what the vet says when I talk to him tomorrow. And then working.
Cool. I have a vampire LARP tomorrow in which I'm going to do a bunch of duplicit things. Except a lot less finesse, because I play a very bestial, feral character. So I'm going to go snarl at people.
Oh, it was a good time.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm hoping punching me.
Did I tell
That
you?
would-
Did I tell you in my tabletop game that my gangrel, who is my strong fighty character, has potence and has blood potency too, and all this kind of stuff.
Blood Potency 2, are you playing 5th edition?
Yeah, 5th edition,
cool.
yeah.
5th edition is serious money.
Yeah, and so I roused the blood, and then like I have 3 dice in potence, and I also had feral claws because of course I do. So I did all of these rouse checks. I rolled 13 dice. Because I was fighting this other gangrel who looked like a little child who was threatening one of my touchstones. And I rolled 13 dice. I got 16 successes.
Jeez. So that was clearly a critical.
I punched a vampire straight into with one hit. With one hit. Just, bitch, no.
Well, that's awesome. I'm actually running a Anarch game. So that'll be pretty fun here.
Fun. My character's Mala is the Draken.
Oh, cool. You mean Dracon?
Yeah, like
the Zamitzi Methuselah that lives in
Methuselah?
Yeah, gotcha. Cool. That's nice.
Sometimes your new dad is the eldest's favorite child, and that means that you can fleshcraft and are also a game.
There you go. I'm running an Anarch game called Vice and Virtue. That's going to be pretty fun. Yeah. So. Yeah, I don't mean to be dominating conversation. Didn't want us all to sit here in awkward silence.
It's all good.
No, you're cool. You're good.
All right, guys. I'll talk to everyone later.
Bye.
All right. Good
Bye.
night.
Take care, sir.
Or good
You guys have
morning,
a
or
good-
whatever it is there.
It's
fun.
afternoon, but yeah, I'll talk to.
Okay.
First player, so dominant. Yeah, I'm also playing card games with the lady. She is whooping my ass.
I'm not a lady.
And she insists that she's not a lady.
Oh, so
But
just to let Adam, just to let you know what the backstory is with Shiana and slavery. Her brother was sold into slavery, to the Ferengi, and she went rogue on a mission to rescue him.
Everyone should hate slavery. That is always a good character.
Yeah,
motivator.
but so that there's a particularly extra personal thing happening there. Because that was her little brother that she protected her whole life, and history and stuff.
The claim of it. Well, gotcha. Yeah, I have an entire vampire faction in my LARP group that's all about killing slavers. So I get you. No, it's good stuff. That was actually a very good. It was an interesting conundrum to have as a. For Star Trek. It's we want to help, but we can't. And for all intents and purposes, Like, we shouldn't. That's why I felt like my character was like, oh, I'll introduce this thing. Like, maybe we shouldn't be so ready to get involved because we could cause a Holocaust. Maybe that'll help everybody sleep better at night.
And Star
Maybe.
Trek, like, I feel like Star Trek gets themselves into that situation so often with, you know, the Prime Directive, etc. And moral quandaries. But moral quandaries are what make science fiction, so it's all good.
Yeah, no, I enjoy that. That's what always makes a good Star Trek game. Is a nice dilemma.
Who has seen the new Good Omens series?
I have not.
I watched
actually
like
just
the
started
first 15
Lucifer.
minutes and then I like fell asleep because my life. Anyway, so I haven't watched it yet, really.
Yeah, I started watching Lucifer. So
Lucifer is good. I binged Good Omens. It was so good.
Oh, so my like sly science fiction that you don't expect to actually be like science fiction kind of themed recommendation is The Society on Netflix. It's about a group of teenagers who come back from a field trip and find themselves to be the only people in their town. Like, everybody else has disappeared, and then the town has been like encircled by dense forest and they're completely cut off. And they have to like create government and rules and all of this stuff. But it's
sounds
like all
very
teenagers and stuff. Like, it's honestly like Battlestar Galactica, but with teenagers on Earth in like Connecticut or wherever the heck it is. It's really fun.
Cool. Yeah, it sounds like Changeling a lot. Another good game I recommend. You'll find that I tend to have a lot of various RPG games that I'll recommend.
And I'm so like, I have this one and I have this one character and I kind of had to have a handle on her, and that's the most I will ever have.
I have 3 Star Trek Adventures characters. You guys saw these are my other 2 characters. Let me find them. No. Stupid. No, phone. Bad. Stop being that way. Okay. This is my other STO era character. This is Talis. She's the chief of security.
Y'all, I am so sorry about that. I know that was more than 5 minutes.
No, it's all good, dude.
It happens, man.
Good. We
It happens.
had some chatting, you know, like we're good.
Cool.
How are you?
Journey had to dip, though.
Oh, no. Okay. Well, I'm sorry I missed his departure, but, okay. Everyone ready to keep going? I'm gonna take that ominous silence as a
Sarah,
yes.
who is this medical character of yours?
That is Dr.
Kalani
Kalani Jar.
Hello.
That's what Safan said too.
But yeah, I'm good.
Okay. So, the outcome of Rise Roll. 4 successes, which is enough for a successful roll. And complications. So I'm not going to tell you how those are going to play out.
Oh no!
Still got 4 successes. I'll at least take that much.
Yes. So you do manage to kind of shave the Viridian patch inside this data pad. Prior to, we're kind of doing a little flashback sequence here, not much of
Yeah.
one, but like managed to kind of expertly take the data pad apart, push this device into it, uh, so that you've got a tracker signal in this data pad. So in
Okay.
theory, you should be able to track it once it leaves your sight.
My intent, storyteller, is one day in the future, either appropriate by an adventure you create or what, to use this later.
Okay.
I have no intention for this to come up now. It'll be either an adventure you create, or maybe we'll
Yeah.
need to find Section 31 future adventure. But
It'll be a
I really
subplot
just
somewhere
felt,
down the line.
yeah, I just felt like that was totally something my character would do.
Yeah, no, it's a good move.
So, because as I was telling them, I gave them real information to make it real bait.
You made it a
So
honeypot.
yeah, exactly. So I feel like that's very appropriate character. If we want to talk later about, oh, wouldn't this be a cool story, we can do that. But that's all I'm looking to do.
Okay.
That's all I expect to come out of it this adventure.
Okay.
So
In that case, we will cut back to the ready room.
Okay. Bianca she's gone into a meditative state, and she's reaching out with her mind to Santiago.
Okay. Uh, you've had significant enough experience with doing this and enough practice with this that it comes rather easily to you now, and within moments you feel Varek's presence in your mind.
And I just kind of let it all out, like the frustration, the what I'm feeling.
And he's just kind of there, and together the two of you are just there for a few moments.
I know that you're not under my task force, but I can't just do nothing about this.
I understand.
Is there any way that you can keep your eye out for something that I can give to Starfleet so they can back me up on this?
I can keep my eyes out. That's easy.
Good. My crew is frustrated. I definitely understand why.
So do I. So does anyone who's ever served in Starfleet, I'm sure.
Wish they would be a little bit less openly hostile about it and just kind of have faith in me that I'll figure it out.
I think they do have faith in you, Captain Ashaya. I think sometimes what your crew is looking for is a sounding board. Someone they can talk to and vent at, who will tell them everything's going to be all right, and that you'll find a way through this.
There is that. But that's all. I just wanted to. I didn't want any record of this conversation.
I understand completely, Bianca. And he kind of smirks at that.
I know you've got my back.
And I know you've got mine.
Always. And Bianca comes out of her meditative trance.
That's when you feel something else. You feel Dinor, the AI.
Feels what?
You feel
How?
Dinor,
Oh.
the AI. Just there for a moment. And then, Captain, we should speak.
Of course. And Bianca's gonna go down to the lab.
Okay. Down in the science lab, it's fairly busy. There are a couple of security guards on station down there, as you guys had put down earlier. Uh, there's no sign that anyone has tampered with Dinor's blue box. They've left it alone. I've still got it in a containment field.
I'm going to attempt to make telepathic contact.
Again, not difficult for you. Not going to require a roll for it. You reach out with your mind and feel Dinor's presence and kind of establish yourself.
You wanted to speak to me.
I did. I've analyzed the data that you gave me previously, and there may be a way to change things.
Change things.
I've identified a point in time that can be altered.
Can you elaborate?
I can, however, may I access the video, the holo recording that you retrieved from from the most recent fragment of the derelict?
I give it access.
Yes, this confirms my suspicions.
What is going on here?
When Starfleet opened, when they activated the ring and opened the rift. Steph, are you okay?
Oh yeah, I'm just sniffling.
Oh, okay. Just making sure. It's like, no, Steph, don't be all weepy on me.
No,
Okay.
no. My nose is just running really bad.
Oh, I hear
I'll
you.
be right back.
Why our bodies? Just upload me to the freaking AI already. Um. Anyway, swapping back. The AI says the process of opening a gateway to another universe, distant enough to provide safety from the Skania. It was done by brute force, Captain.
What
And
are the Skania?
they are from another universe and were pulled in to this universe by the very act of opening the gateway.
Why was the gateway opened?
For Starfleet to escape from the Skania.
Causality loop.
Okay.
If you return to the past to when the ring was activated and can convince them not to activate the ring, you could save the future.
When do we have to go back?
100,000 years.
Understood.
There is There are complicating factors, of course. There is no technology in the 25th century that will allow Dauntless to travel back in time 100,000 years. However, my records show that on approximately this star date, the Dauntless filed an inquiry with the Department of Temporal Investigation, who provided assistance.
Sounds like I have a request to file.
Indeed. The other complication, of course, is they will not expect you in the past. They will
Well, I would
recognize
hope
you
not.
almost certainly, but I cannot predict how they will react.
Well, let's hope that it's not unfavorably. Alright, if there isn't anything else.
There is one more thing, Captain. The request I made earlier, have you considered it?
Yes. If you feel that's what's best.
I feel it is necessary to reduce the risks of contamination to the timeline.
I agree. So I guess this is farewell.
Yes. There is a telepathic sign countersign. And Dinor kind of relates this to you, the sign and countersign to you. It says, when you deliver the countersign, it will trigger a series of reactions within my blue box. It will not be unpleasant. I will not feel pain.
Bianca just nods, doesn't say anything else.
With no further ado, Dinor gives you the sign.
Bianca kind of waits a beat and then gives the counter sign. Just with a small nod.
And you don't hear anything else telepathically, but you feel a flood of gratitude and relief wash over you. The existence of 100,000 years, almost all of it in isolation, ending mercifully and happily. And then you almost feel pushed back as you're flooded with just a wave of information. Everything that Dinor had recorded in a brief flash sears itself into your mind. One of the security guards grabs you and says, Captain, are you okay?
Bianca just blinks and looks at the security guard, a little confused for a moment, and then just nods. I'm all right.
Captain, your nose.
She puts her hand up to her nose.
A drop of blood.
She just kind of like wipes it on the back of her hand. I'm all right.
Aye, ma'am. You, it,
Take, huh?
the security guard just kind of looks past you to the blue box, which is now showing no signs of activity, and says, Captain, did that do something?
It died. Go ahead and put the box itself in the replicator. We can salvage what we can from it.
Aye, ma'am.
And then Bianca pulls out a pad and starts composing a message to the DTI. As she walks out of the lab.
Gotcha. Shanna, where are you at the moment?
Maybe in my quarters.
Okay. Uh, you are probably the first one to catch this before it goes to the rest of the ship. But you hear intruder alert, cargo bay 2. Repeat, intruder alert, cargo bay 2.
Shit.
That's when it starts
Shit. And
echoing
that's
through the
Shiana,
rest of
like,
the ship.
and Shiana, like, knocks over a teacup, and Plaquer is like, what? And and Shiana's like, out.
And Bianca, that's when you hear it as well. All hands, intruder alert, cargo bay 2. I say again, all hands, intruder alert, cargo bay 2.
Security detail to Cargo Bay 2.
On our way, Captain.
And computer, set up isolation fields in Cargo Bay 2.
Acknowledged.
I mean, I'll totally go there.
Who else is headed that way?
I'm still with Jonas.
Okay.
Bianca's going to go that way.
Yeah.
I'm already in the turbo lift.
But Shiana is like sprinting, so
Yeah, Shanna is sprinting.
whatevs.
In Jonas's quarters as well, you hear it. Intruder alert, cargo bay 2. All hands, intruder alert.
I'll I guess if I gotta go, I'll go.
You don't gotta.
I mean, all hands, so.
You can go up to the bridge.
No, I'm curious now, so I'm gonna go.
Okay.
You guys all get to Cargo Bay 2 in time to see something that at least half of you have seen before. Which is, let's see if it's actually going to work for me. No, it's not going to work. Which is a distinctive blue police box.
Blue what?
Police box.
Oh.
Kind of just shimmering into appearance in the corner of the cargo bay.
Well, that sounds exciting.
Oh, this
And then
asshole.
stops with a final thud.
I immediately
This dude
round.
better have a scarf 20 feet long, or I'm beaming him into space. I'm just saying.
No. I'm just gonna round the corner, into the thing, see the police box, and just look to Shiana, oh no.
The door to this police box cracks open.
Please be 9, please be 9, please be 9.
10.
And DTI agent Claude Lavoie peeks out and says,
Aww.
"Do you guys miss me?"
Claude!
And that's where we're going to end
I
tonight's
was just
episode.
about to send you a message.
Ah! Oh my gosh!
Oh, they're gonna join us next session?
No, probably not. But
Aww.
I mean, I'm gonna try. But they've got 2 deadlines looming over their heads, so it's probably going to be me playing Claude.
That's fair.
Sorry.
No, it's all good. We just love a Claude. We stand
Right?
Claude in this family. Oh, does Claude have the scar yet?
Yeah, I mean, she had the scar when you guys first met her.
Yeah, I know, but then we went back in time to when
And so
there
that
was
she
no
would have
scar.
the scar in part, yeah.